Всем привет! I thought I would jump on and fulfill a request to describe how to pronounce the words сцена and сценарий. Here we go. So let's do сцена first. It means stage or scene. We'll talk about what is happening in the word, and then we'll talk about how do we pronounce it. So first, what is going on here? Let's use transcription to uncover what is happening. So the first letter is an S. We'll write S. The next letter is ц. We use TS together to represent that sound. Some dictionaries, like Wiktionary, like to place a little symbol over the TS to remind you that it's really one sound. And when I see that, it also reminds me to tell you, completely unrelatedly, that when you have an S followed by a ц, it's very often pronounced a little bit slurred together, a little bit blurred together, по-русски in Russian. So it's not сцена, it's сцена, сцена. So just remember that that's a little bit of a trick to very Russian-ish pronunciation. So STS, the next letter is a Y. We'll write an E, and we'll also remember or learn for the first time that ц is always hard. It does not palatalize. It is never palatalized by a Y. So you'll never hear anything like ц ever. It sounds more like an E vowel. So we won't write an apostrophe that indicates palatalization. The next letter is an N. We'll write an N, and the final letter is an A. It's unstressed, however, it sounds a little bit more like an A vowel. I usually write that using a schwa. So that's what's happening in the word. We find that actually S, ц together is really just STS together. So do we have that sound in English? In case you speak any English. We do. Let's think about the phrase best seen. We have an STS there. Let's think about it. Best seen, best seen. We have it. So that's what's happening. We just don't have any vowels in front of STS in the word сцена. So that's what's happening. Now let's talk about how do we do it. That knowing what's happening may have already taught you how to actually pronounce the word, but in case not, there are some little steps we can take to walk you towards pronouncing it. So if we think about the phrase best seen, it's actually a lot easier to say than сцена, and here's why. The vowel that's an E, that's before that consonant cluster, acts like a helping vowel. Helping vowels are vowels that assist when people are pronouncing consonants or difficult sounds. They're just, sometimes we use them on either side of a consonant cluster or a consonant to make it easier to say. And that's naturally happening in this phrase, best seen. So let's actually use that concept, only we'll change the E to an E sound, and we'll stick B on the beginning of сцена to practice pronouncing it. So here we go. Jaw, slightly closed. Tongue mushed up against the back of the bottom teeth, lips rounded and protruded. Here we go. Jaw, tongue, lips. Бесценно, бесценно, бесценно. We can also use a little space, like let's imagine a little space between bes and цена. Бесценно, бесценно. That makes it easier. And eventually, if we practice that a little bit, practice it a little bit faster and faster, but only if we still are being precise about it. Бесценно, бесценно, бесценно. Now we take off the B. Сцена, сцена. We can also actually mouth it to help us if we need an intermediate step between using the B and not using it at all. So, сцена, сцена, сцена. So that's the word сцена. Let's go to the word сценарий. So it means scenario or script. First, we'll talk about what's happening in this word and then how to pronounce it. So an S is an S, ц is TS, just like before. Yeah, just like before, would be an E sound, an E sound, without palatalization because ц is always hard. Only this time, the Y does not have a stress mark over it. And really sophisticated Russian phoneticists have classified this vowel that Russians produce in native speech as either an U or an U-flavored E. So you can think of it either way. For the sake of simplicity, I'll just use an U here. And I'll transcribe it using a Y. We have N-A, N-A, and then we have a soft R. We know that it's soft with a high forward tongue because the next vowel is an E. So R apostrophe I, the last letter is an I kratkaya. We use a J from the Czech alphabet to represent that Y sound, because we've already used a Y. Now, if you don't know this transcription system, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Nothing bad will happen. It just is, I'm mentioning it because I teach it as a tool in other contexts. So, this word, just like the other one, has STS in the beginning, and we have that sound in English. Remember, best seen, best set. So how can we walk ourselves towards pronouncing this word? The same way. So instead of сценарий, let's put a B in front of it. Сценарий. All right, so jaw, slightly close. Tongue mushed forwards against the back of the bottom teeth with a tip there. And lips rounded, protruded. Jaw, tongue, lips. Сценарий. Сценарий. I'm putting space in between the first two syllables just to make it easier. Jaw, tongue, lips. Сценарий. 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 If you find that when you speed it up it's not working for you, then just slow it down again. Сценарий. Сценарий. And there you have it. Сцена and сценарий. Счастливо!